Welcome to the Daily Plunge. We are in the book of Genesis, chapter 40, verses 1 through 23. So Joseph is in prison, and because the Lord was with him, and really because Joseph was with the Lord, was obedient to the Lord, he prospered. Even in prison, he is prospering, and he's been made a trustee. And for this reason, two high-value prisoners are brought in to his cell, to his area, and one is the chief cupbearer and the other one is the chief baker. You need to recognize the chief cupbearer is part of the secret service. It is his job to taste the wine or whatever the Pharaoh drinks to make sure that he's not poisoned. You have to remember that most assassination attempts were by poisoning rather than by any other means. And the next one was the chief baker. Well, again, he feeds the Pharaoh, and the Pharaoh must have had food poisoning of some sort and thought, oh, someone's trying to kill me. These guys ate the same food I ate, and they seem to be okay. So he throws them in prison. And, he was offended. He was furious, the text tells us, because he thinks someone's trying to kill him. Why aren't these guys suffering like I am? Perhaps there were others who did. And so Joseph says to them, why the sad face? Why are you so dejected? Well, because, they're facing a death penalty for trying to assassinate the king, for treason, possible treason. And they said, we both had horrible dreams last night, and no one was here to interpret them. And then Joseph says, don't interpretations belong to the Lord? This is verse 8. Tell it to me. Now, when Joseph first had dreams, he didn't think that the interpretation belonged to the Lord. He just sort of interpreted it himself. And while it's true that his family would bow down to him as a leader, that wasn't from the Lord. And he's still displaying this arrogance. Yeah, God's a part of this, but I'm really the one who makes it happen. Tell it to me. And so Joseph is still learning. In fact, he is going through all this hardship because God is more interested in our character of being obedient to his will than he is in our happiness. And Joseph is a sign of that. I mean, he keeps, as he says to, in verse 16, he tells these guys, please remember me if you get free. He says, keep me in mind, mention me, because I was kidnapped from the land of the Hebrews. You were betrayed by your brothers. And even here, I was wrongfully imprisoned. I did not rape that woman. And he is going through all this, the persecution of life, because he is righteous in God. And just like Christ will be persecuted and will be hated for being over the world, right? So too is Joseph. Joseph is the Christ figure. He's prefiguring what Jesus will go through. Now he tells the chief cupbearer, you had this dream. There were 3 branches. That represents 3 days. You had a cluster of grapes and you squeezed them into the cup, and then you gave the cup to Pharaoh. And in 3 days, Pharaoh will lift up your head and restore you to your position of authority. And then the chief baker, he says, well, you had 3 baskets of white bread, and white bread meaning really refined bread, and they were on your head, and you saw the birds eating that. And what it means is that in 3 days, your head will be lifted off your shoulders. You'll be strung out there, hung up on a post, and the birds will be feasting on you. Well, on the Pharaoh's birthday, the cupbearer is restored and the baker is executed. And the cupbearer, we're told, does not remember him, but forgot him, actively forgot him. Well, thanks, friends. Have a blessed day.